Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. I swear, it doesn't look like it, but this really is Apollo Justice. So, previously, we were able to prove that not only was the poison stamp intended for Vera Misham, the real forger, but she also admitted to forging more than just art. She forged evidence. And in particular, she forged Magnifi's letter. In this case, 7 years ago, between Phoenix Wright and the very first time that Clavier Gavin prosecuted. So this fake letter states that Zach was asked to shoot Magnifi in his hospital bed while he was unconscious. This really is just an insane plot. I'm loving it. So we've blasted back to the past in this flashback to 7 years ago, and we're back in Game Boy Advance land. With all the same music and colors and visuals, and it's a treat, so let's just keep going and cross-examine Gumshoe. Actually, the victim kind of ordered the defendant to do him in. Just because he got the letter doesn't mean he went through with it. Oh, I disagree. The victim was, indeed, shot in the forehead after all, just as he had commanded. It could be a setup, but let's not be in such a hurry. Maybe we should let the witness talk for a change. Thanks, pal. Didn't Phoenix interrupt him? Fine. I can play it slow as well as I can play it fast. On with the testimony, Detective Gumshoe. A few days before it happened, the victim sent a letter ordering his own murder. And this letter was sent by the victim. There it is! Gotcha! You're all mine this time, pal! Huh? I had the handwriting checked out, of course. It's the victim's, no mistake. Ah, I see. Ha 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 ha. Score one for the boys. I didn't lose. I was just ascertaining the facts. So why am I so annoyed? But a letter ordering your own death? Things aren't what they used to be, I guess. Wait, no. Was I wrong? No, it's this one. The notebook. Oh. Yeah, it was this one. This one was the fake one. My bad. Yeah, this is the forged evidence drawn by Vera Misham that makes Magnifi look like he was suicidal. Well, actually, no. If I presented this at any point, it wouldn't look suicidal. It would just be a memoir. It would be like, yeah, I'm aware that I'm gonna die real quick. I am aware Zach's gonna shoot me, so, okay, maybe this isn't a trump card, but still, we know this is the forged evidence, and we know it is going to get Phoenix disbarred. Such as fate. I'm not sure this is exactly commonplace, even now, Your Honor. So anyway, guess I'll keep going while I'm ahead. The defendant did what was asked of him and shot the old man in the forehead. How can you be so sure? Hey, you gotta learn to stop relying on people to do your thinking for you, pal. Learn to think for yourself. Get that noggin crankin'. You fail to grasp the concept of questioning, Detective. First, we got this letter. It says shoot in the forehead, loud and clear. I can see that, but I still wouldn't do it. Well, maybe you need to grow yourself a backbone, pal. You failed to grasp the concept of shooting people is bad, Detective. I think this might be one of my favorite lines of dialogue in the entire franchise so far. You fail to grasp the concept of shooting people is bad, Detective. Oh, wow. That's good. We also found the defendant's pistol at the scene. Traces of gunpowder residue show that it had been fired recently. Well, Mr. Wright? As far as I can tell from looking at this photo, there seems to be no issue with the prosecution's claim. The photo. Maybe there's something in there I can use. So they're saying the defendant shot the victim in the forehead. I think there's a hole in the prosecution's argument. Clearly, Mr. Enigmar... Wait, is it? Okay, looking at the clown doll on the left... Isn't that like a... I think it looks like there's a hole in its forehead. Shot something else? Look, I'm going off of like... Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... I'm going off of 6 pixels here. But maybe shot something else? Looking at this photo, another possibility occurs to me. Yes? What does the letter tell us? That the defendant had a reason he couldn't refuse his teacher's wishes. Bingo, pal. That's why the defendant popped him one in the forehead. Oh? The defense disagrees. You see, the defendant had another choice he could make. Objection! What, and you can prove that with this photo? I can prove he had a choice, yes. The defendant might have fired like he was ordered, but he didn't shoot the victim's forehead. Well, let's hear what you're thinking, Mr. Wright. If he didn't shoot the victim's forehead, what did the defendant shoot? This other forehead? The clown doll? Oh my god, this is it, isn't it? Take a closer look. See? It's been shot in the forehead too. Oh, there's a hole in its forehead. Yes, and a hole in the prosecution's claim. And I suppose you have a reason as to why he'd shoot the clown doll. He didn't just shoot the doll. He shot the doll's forehead. His forehead. Oh. Let's read the orders once more, shall we? You will shoot one shot square in the forehead. Which is exactly what he did. He shot the clown doll square in the forehead. The defense has raised an intriguing possibility. That hole in the clown's forehead. It definitely looks like it was shot. Bailiff, send someone to investigate this matter. Objection! I admit I'm impressed, but I expected nothing less. Still, this doesn't mean he didn't shoot the victim. Objection! Perhaps he did have to shoot a forehead, as ordered. But the letter says nothing about whose forehead. This was only the way he had to follow his orders without taking a life. The bullet hole in the clown doll's forehead does demand an explanation. It might very well be a clue. Yet Prosecutor Gavin is right. It alone does not prove the defendant's innocence. You cannot say for sure the defendant didn't shoot the victim. So sorry, Mr. Wright. How sad it is to see the mighty fall. How sad is it to see the novice's overconfidence? He doesn't realize just how big this little hole is going to get. Detective Gumshoe. Oh, Detective Gumshoe, please take this newfound fact into account as you continue your testimony. So what if he shot the clown? He still shot the victim, pal. But did he, though? So let me get this straight. You're saying my client first shot the clown, then shot the victim? Hey, not a bad summary, pal. More of a confirmation than a summary, but whatever. That was really more of a confirmation than a summary. But our defense attorney seems pleased enough with himself. Do these people ever miss a chance to mock me? Well, now that Mr. Wright's gotten that out of his system, shall we continue with our testimony? I didn't have time to gather all the details before coming in here. This testimony might be my only source of information. Better pay attention and read this letter carefully. Okay, so obviously so what if he shot the clown, he still shot the victim? How do we disprove that? Well, it's not as easy as looking at the gun and saying, oh, it was only fired once. No. Let's read this very carefully. To you, I entrust the task of lowering my life's curtain. I will ready a gun with which you will shoot one shot square in the forehead. You will shoot one shot. Is this what I have to hang everything on? Shoot one shot. Wait a second. That's a shot right there. Hey. Hey. Shoot one shot square in the forehead. Okay, look. I'm not familiar with insulin. I don't know exactly where the best places on the body to inject it is. But I really don't think it's the forehead. Yeah, that'll just go right into your skull. Into your brain. But yeah, this shows no sign of use anyway, so... I guess we do just say, hey, it says one shot. There's no way Zach could have fired two. Okay, I was wrong. Your Honor, what do you think about the witness's statement? I'm not sure I follow you. It clearly, contradicts the, I thought... Okay. I don't think that won me any points with the judge. Well, what else do I do then? Small syringe. Do I really go with the syringe? Use this shot? Single gunshot to the head. Anything in the notebook page? Is this where we do it? Fate's clock will make me wait a little longer. At least only less than 10 swift minutes remain. To all those who have supported me in my life's work, I give thanks. Farewell. Do we show this now and try and say, no, it was a suicide? Now it could super easily be said that, no, this is just him knowing his death was coming. Look, it has to be a contradiction on this very sentence, right? That's the only reason it was added to the testimony. It has to be this. That's how it's always worked. So what if he shot the clown, he still shot the victim? Do we really say has no sign of use so he didn't shot him with a shot? Oh my god. Okay, thank god that wasn't it, because I would have been mad. Okay, steadily losing health. Not good. Is there anything else? Maybe we can see how many shots were fired here. You mean this pistol, the one in the crime scene photo? That's the one. It's a funny looking gun, so there's no mistaking it. We compared the bullet taken from the victim's skull with the bullet fired from this gun. The rifling marks on the bullets were a perfect match. So, you verified the murder weapon, in other words? You bet we did. Oh, great. And the pistol definitely belonged to the old man, sir. Why are you so certain? What pile of sand has your head been stuck in all this time, pal? You never heard of Zach and Valen's quick draw shooting? Shoot 'em? Huh? What's that? One of the defendant's specialties. Zach and Valen stand on either side of a girl. Then they shoot. But the bullets don't hit her. Instead, they hit everything else on stage. This was one of the pistols they used in their show. Got a great design, huh? The kids love it. Many boys and girls joined the police because of that pistol, I hear. Wow, that's terrifying. You know, that would explain a lot about the police force. And how. Oh, California, anyway. Troop Gramry stopped doing that act a while ago. The old man held onto that pistol ever since. The court would like to see the pistol in question. You got it, sir. Here she is. Well, this truly is a blast from the past. That's my joke. Anyway, it's a stage pistol for magic shows, see? But it can fire real bullets. It looks so much bigger in real life than on TV. Yeah, but can only hold one round. Well, there you go. By the way, the pistol's firing chamber is empty. And it shows traces of having been fired recently. So, were any fingerprints found on the gun? Unfortunately, no. Of course, the defendant is known for wearing gloves. We might say that a lack of fingerprints is, in fact, a fingerprint of its own. Aha! Intriguing point. Well made. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Not well made. Not intriguing. In any case, the court accepts this evidence. God damn it. My grandchild would get a kick out of seeing this. But now it's time to return to our testimony. I swear his grandchild was mentioned before. Not in this game, but in the original trilogy. Okay, let's have a look. Fires one real bullet. Let's take a closer look. Yep, that's solid gold. It's a bit awkward. Can I look down the barrel? Doesn't look like it. Is there anything to see? Oh, on this side? If you look closely, you can see how the pistol's made to bend here. It's a one-shot only model, and I guess this bend is where you load it. So, this is the famous Gramarye golden gun. They say kids used to love pretending they had one of these. Those golden guns were all the rage in GoldenEye 64. I wonder if they pretended to miss their targets too. Okay, well, it has to be this, right? Yeah. I didn't have the right evidence at all. Oh, that's so annoying. The trickiest cases often seem the simplest. Prosecutor Gavin, you missed the bullet hole in the clown's forehead. If you hadn't missed that, you might have come to a very different conclusion. Understand? Yeah, but like I just said, pal. After he shot the clown in the forehead, he went and... did nothing of the sort to the victim. The pistol proves he could not. The murder weapon? How? It's quite simple, Your Honor. This pistol only holds one bullet at a time. Oh. If he had shot the clown in the forehead, he couldn't have shot the victim too. Phoenix, have you ever heard of reloading? Hello? Yarg! That's not a contradiction. Not even close. All he had to do was reload the pistol after the first shot. Oh? Where did he get the extra bullet? They're not so easy to come by, you know. Phoenix, this is America. If you claim the defendant had one ready, then prove to us how he got it. Irk. I had a feeling this wasn't over yet. No, this party's just getting started. And I haven't proven anything yet beyond my good looks and startling record sales. An utter lack of humility. What's this? It seems that prosecution has another witness prepared. Like I said, Air Detective was just the warm-up act. Ugh. Now that the audience has gotten a taste of what's to come, they're ready. Ready for what? For my decisive witness, of course. A witness who, you will find, can prove one thing for us. That it was Zach Gramery who shot the victim in the forehead. Very well. We will pause for a 15-minute recess. What do you want to bet, like, this new witness, whoever it was, like, saw the silhouettes through, like, a curtain and saw Zach, quote-unquote, point the gun, but because of the angle, you couldn't tell if it was at the person in the bed or at the clown nearby. This might be my lucky break. I'll need that 15 minutes to talk to my client, Zach. Court is adjourned. To be continued. Nice. I think this means I get a health refresh, so that's really good for me. April 19th, 11:21 a.m. Defendant lobby number 2. Very impressive, Mr. Wright. I have to say, I expected nothing less. We've only just begun. I was hoping you could tell me a bit more about what happened, actually. I did not think you would believe me if I told you. Better that you discovered the truth for yourself. I was thinking of you, you know. I think we need less thinking and more talking. That night in the hospital, what really happened? Ah, the way your eyes gleam, Mr. Wright. You'll scare Trucy. Speaking of which, where is she? You have seen the problem yourself, the letter. The one shot in the forehead one, right? Yes, and the reason he speaks of. I could not deny my mentor's wishes, even if it meant my own death. Why not? This is something I will not say. For now, at least. What's this for now business? I have done many things in my life, some well, some poorly. But this is a cross we must bear alone to our graves. We? You wanted to know about the night of the incident? Finally, this guy sure likes to take his time getting to the important stuff. Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time and found there upon his bedside table 2 pistols. What? 2? Well, that does make sense. The act was between both Zach and Valent firing their fake pistols. Well, I guess they're real. Yes, the one I had used during on stage, and the one that had been used by my partner, Valent. Oh, for the Zach and Valent's quick draw thing. My mentor had the look of one sleeping. I stood by his bedside, hearing only the light sound of his breathing. Then I took the pistol into my hand. I cannot deny that my resolve faltered then, for a moment. You faltered. You mean you thought about shooting him? Recall there was a reason I could not refuse his request. His last such request, though not his first. So there were other requests you couldn't refuse before. To be honest, I've not always been steadfast, and I fear I've brought pain upon Trucy. Was Magnifi coercing his disciples somehow? Just what was going on in Troop Gramarye? Yet, in the end, I did not shoot him. Instead, I turned and shot the clown. I took the pistol I had fired and placed it in my pocket. In your pocket? I believe if you examine the bullet in the clown's head, you will find it to be different than the one in my mentor. What were those called? Rifling marks. Yes, well, that is all I have to tell you concerning the case. Is that the gun right there on his hip? Okay. So looks like Zach went into the room, picked up his gun, fired at the clown, and left. Then sometime later, someone else came in, picked up the remaining gun, and shot Magnifi. I see how it is. That's very simple. Concerning the case... You mean there's something else you can tell me? You are a fascinating man, Mr. Wright. Thanks? Yes, there is something. My mentor, his eyes opened. What? A Magnifi Gramarye? The old devil, he was not asleep, you see. Of course, the gunshot would have woke him in anyway. And there we had our last discussion as mentor and pupil. It was not a long discussion, maybe 5-10 minutes or so. Ah. That is very good to know. That's not a long time, but those minutes matter. What did you talk about? Mr. Wright, did I not just tell you? It does not concern this case. Zach Gramarye. He seems pretty steadfast to me. Or maybe just stubborn. Mr. Wright, your presence is requested in the courtroom. Once again, I am in your hands. All right, let's get back in there. I swear to God, if this witness is Dr. Hottie, I'm gonna flip. Court is now back in session. During our recess, a bullet was found in and dug out from the clown's head. Well, this is news. And the rifling marks. There wasn't time to do a detailed analysis, though they did find the weapon type matches the murder weapon. Well, that's not very conclusive, is it? Which is why I'm about to call my very decisive witness. Your decisive witness? How many times have I heard those words? Though they often turn out to be far less decisive than you think. Oh, don't worry on my account. I'm quite confident this witness will do the job. After all, he is intimately acquainted with the players in our little production. Valent? Being the other half of Troop Gramarye's famous duo, Zach and Valent. Valent Gramarye. So we get to meet the great Magnifi's other disciple. Well, there's a third, but okay. You look so young. Perhaps we'll start by asking your name and occupation. Valent Gramarye, magician. And you're the decisive witness, are you? You can prove your fellow student, your partner's guilt. Fate, the grand illusion filled with traps and tricks. Oh, wait! The shooting took place in that hospital after 11 o'clock at night. If you're a witness, does that mean you were there that late? If one were to deduce this logically, the conclusion is yes. Wait. Is he using a heart brooch right now? Okay. I always get the characters, don't I? I have an interesting fact for you. Oh wait, no, that's Clavier. I have an interesting fact for you. You see, several days before the crime, my witness received this. That looks very familiar. Wait. That's the same letter Zach Gramery received. Yes, or perhaps I should say, ta-da! Order, order, order! And what does it say? Surely not the same thing. Perhaps you should see for yourself. Yep, you will shoot one shot square in the forehead. To my beloved student, Valent. Lowering my life's curtain. 11:20 p.m. That's much later. Huh. Why, it's practically the same. The court accepts this into evidence. Okay, letter 2 for Valent. Understood. This is most unusual. Exactly what was going on with you folks? What exactly was your troop Gramery up to? By which you mean? I'm just having trouble envisioning a man who would ask his students to kill him. Both of them, no less. It's just my opinion, Air Judge. But from these letters, I'd say he was coercing them, not asking them. We walked the magician's path together, and in so doing shared much of our lives. When people are so close, there is a strain, a warping of relations, you might say. Yet this has nothing to do with the case at hand. By which you mean you're not going to tell us. Which makes me wonder even more about this reason they couldn't refuse. Well, let's get on with the testimony for starters. The defendant, Zach Gramery, stands accused. Tell us why. Oh, I'll do more than that. For where he walks, the red roses rise, singing hymns to the miracle that is magic. Fascinating. Though I hardly need to remind you that the evidence could just as clearly point to you as the suspect. The letter, the murder weapon, and now the 2 bullets found at the scene. In fact, the only difference seems to be the designated time. As every magician knows, timing is everything. Yes, and now it's time to get this party fired up. It bothers me that he's wearing the heart brooch and not the diamond that I'm used to. That night, I visited the hospital room at the time Magnifi requested. The smell of gunpowder hung in the room, and my mentor had taken his final bow. I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions. Yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. Death's sweet kiss I gave to the clown. Then I informed the doctor and the police. So you were the one who reported the crime. Indeed. I would think. This fact alone would clear my name of suspicion. Let's not jump to any conclusions. Yes, the cross-examination generally comes before the conclusions in this court. But if your testimony proves to be true, then the defendant, Zach Gramery, is guilty. And if it wasn't Zach Gramery, then the killer was you, Valent. And no disappearing act will get you out of that. Okay, let's see. I have to take this bit by bit. That night, I visited the hospital room at the time Magnifi requested. Which, according to the letter, was 11:20 p.m.? Indeed. In magic, timing is everything. Right. Consider the illusion of teleportation. If I were to appear on stage before my stunt double has left, how would that look? Why, it would reveal the very secrets of my magic. Now that you have revealed the very secrets of your magic for all of us, let's move on. You went at the designated time, and what did you see? The smell of gunpowder hung in the room, and my mentor had taken his final bow. So, you weren't worried for your own safety at all? I mean, you smelled gunpowder, yes? What if the shooter was still nearby? I did not consider this, to be honest. It is forbidden for a magician to have a good imagination. What? Really? Isn't magic all about illusions and imagination? How about this? You were the shooter, which is why you weren't afraid. Now you are the one imagining. It is forbidden for a lawyer to have a good imagination. The witness will refrain from pausing so suspiciously before responding. Yeah, this really is... Oh, man. Okay, it looks like Zach is the one with a good poker face. Valent, not so much. My forbidden imagination is starting to imagine things. I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions. Which brings us back to this reason neither of you could refuse. So it does, and my partner, he did not refuse. But Magnifi wrote the same thing to you. Why could you refuse if Zach couldn't? Because I have a will of steel. Of course, I also do this trick where I bend steel bars. So perhaps steel isn't all so strong. So which is it? Mind if I continue? Yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. Death's sweet kiss I gave to the clown. There were 2 bullet holes at the scene, one in the victim and one in the clown. You're saying the one who shot the clown was you? No doubt my partner Zach has said much the same thing. Yeah, because whoever didn't shoot the clown committed murder. I better dig around here a bit more and see what I turn up. Mr. Valent, let me ask you about something else concerning the crime scene, namely... Okay. So look. If what Valent says is true, and he put a shot into the clown, how could Zach possibly have known that there was a hole in the clown? Because he did it. He would have had to. He shot the clown, then left. That's how he knew there was a hole in the clown. Okay, so what's more suspicious? Well, the pistol, the location of the pistol, the number of pistols. Well, the pistols are part of the act. He'd just say there's 2, and that'd be that. So what about the location of the pistol? Where exactly was the pistol when you entered the room? Atop a small bedside table it was. As if to say, here I am, take me into your hand, pull my trigger, shoot him. The victim clearly wanted to be shot. But why? Perhaps he wanted to go out with a bang. Yet we will never hear the truth from his lips, so all we can do is guess. Is the location of the pistol all that important? No, I really don't think it is. No, I don't think it is. I'm gonna back out. Not important. Actually, let me ask about something else. Very well. The witness may continue with the testimony. What can I do but obey? Okay. Okay, so we'll ask through this again. Tell me about the bullet in the pistol. In order to shoot a pistol, you need a bullet. Where was the bullet? I entered the room and took the pistol in my hand. The bullet was already loaded, ready to fire at any time. A magician is always prepared, you see. Prepared for... One never knows when a miracle will be called for. A magician always has 7 doves in his pocket and a white rabbit up each sleeve. Clearly, we're dealing with professionals here. Is this bullet that was loaded in the pistol really so important? No, you know what? I buy that both pistols could be loaded. The letters call for one single shot. Each is loaded, each disciple gets tested. No, it's not important. So our last and third option here, hopefully this is more obvious to me. The number of pistols. How many pistols were there when you entered the room? By which you mean what, precisely? 2 pistols were used in the Zack and Valent quick draw shoot-'em, correct? 1 for each of you. You are well informed, yet only one of my old friends sat in the hospital room that night. What did Zack tell me back in the lobby? Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into the room that night at the appointed time, and found there upon his bedside table 2 pistols. I took the pistol I had fired and placed it in my pocket. I see no problem with that statement. Only 1 pistol is visible in the photograph of the crime scene, after all. So you picked up that pistol and fired it? Indeed I did. Alakazam, alakazing, alakaboom. Is the number of pistols really so important? Quite important. I think so. The number of pistols is quite important, Your Honor. Very well. Please add this detail to your testimony. What can I do but obey? Only one hospital room... Only 1 pistol was in the hospital room that night. With it, I shot the clown. So press this. So you took the only pistol there and fired it. That's correct. And that pistol was this one, which was left at the crime scene. Good show. I see you two are a magician of sorts. And you're an idiot of sorts. Do you have any idea what you just said? I see the fire in your eyes as you glare at the witness. So how about heating up this trial a bit? These slow ballads bore me. I've got a hunch, but maybe that's all it is. We should ask about something else? No need. On second thought, let's run with this testimony for a while longer. Okay. So this replaces the old statement completely, and that's just how we change to another. So he pretty much admitted that this bullet completely matches the one found in the skull. Because this pistol right here is the one he fired. And its bullet matches a skull. Matches the bullet found in the victim. Here we go. According to the defendant, Zach Gramery, when he entered the room, there were 2 pistols on that table. 2. One of those pistols he used to shoot the clown in the forehead. Then he left with it in his pocket. Of course, this is what he would say. Unlike the hapless clown, he must assume our defendant has some brains in his head. Well, what about Mr. Valent has told us? You see, there's something about his testimony that doesn't make sense. What might that be? I told you I took the pistol that was there and shot the clown. That's your story, at least. But the rifling marks tell a very different story, Mr. Valent. Recall what Prosecutor Gavin told us. We compared the bullet taken from the victim's skull with a bullet fired from this gun. The rifling marks on the bullets were a perfect match. Mr. Valent, if you fired this pistol, then you shot the victim in the forehead. Order, order, order. Well, this is all rather sudden. What have I done? Prosecutor Gavin? I owe the court an apology. Sorry. Sorry for what? You see, I was unaware that 2 of these unique pistols were crafted. The analysis of the rifling marks only proved the type of gun that fired them. But that's not what you told us before. You said you'd verified the murder weapon. Which is why I'm apologizing to you now. Quite sincerely, I must add. Will you hold me accountable for a mistake made in my youth? That was just this morning. I am still young. This guy. And, I might add, it wasn't really my fault. If the defendant had only admitted he took 1 pistol from the scene of the crime, we would not be having this pleasant discussion now. Valent Gramery? Yes, Your Honor. You were presented to this court as a decisive witness, but you've proven to be more divisive than decisive. Objection! You'll see in time. The testimony so far has merely been a review of the facts. The proof comes next. Care to elaborate, Prosecutor Gavin? When Mr. Valent entered the hospital room, the victim had already been shot. As his next testimony will prove, ere right, the real fight is about to begin. Bring it. Very well. The witness will now testify to the court. Help us determine who shot what. Okay. I arrived in the hospital room at the appointed time, which is to say 11:20 p.m. After discovering the body, I fulfilled my obligation, then called in the doctor. The doctor examined the body before the police arrived. He was quite clear about the time of death, 11:10 p.m. And the one in the room at the time was my partner, not me. Those times are rather close, you have to admit. You're talking about an alibi established over a matter of minutes. To use a 10-minute discrepancy as a basis of your alibi is easy to explain in this situation, Judge. For example, Take our debut hit single, 13 Years Hard Time for Love. Cue to the song, press the play button, and we'll play for 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Do it 100 times, the result is the same. Their debut single was only 2 minutes and 15 seconds long? What a ripoff. Magic is a world of utmost precision. Hocus pocus requires admirable focus. And in the time of death determined by the doctor, there is an incontrovertible truth. Very well. The prosecution warns us that we're dealing with rather precise times, and we can expect the cross-examination to require the same level of precision. I would hope the defense refrains from its customarily broad, sweeping accusations, lest we blur the focus this case so clearly demands. Point taken. Baseless remarks will result in a penalty. Carry on, Mr. Wright. Carry on. Right. Something stinks here. Something definitely stunk about this testimony, and it's not the butts, for once. Arrived in the hospital room at the appointed time, which is to say 11:20. 11:20 p.m. Can you prove that's when you arrived? Alas, such a feat may be beyond even the great Valant, for there was none in that room but Magnifi. That guy, and he was departed after a fashion. I have here Defendant Zach Gramery's sworn deposition. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time. It was 10 minutes before I left the room, and the victim was still alive. The time indicated by this letter to Zach was 11:05 p.m. Exactly, which means the witness could not have entered that room before 11:15, because his partner was still in the middle of his crime. I see someone did their arithmetic homework. You see, the defendant himself has corroborated the witness's testimony. Does that all make sense? It makes sense for now. I don't see any problem with that testimony. If you say so. Let's continue, shall we? Sometimes the most magical thing of all is the truth. After discovering the body, I fulfilled my obligation, then called in the doctor. You walk in on a murder, and the first thing you do is shoot the clown? The disciple does what the disciple must. My mentor's request, without reason, had caused for a surfeit of sorrow. For what would I, Valant, be now without him? May the soul of Magnify the Great... Maggie. His name's Maggie now. Maggie the Great find greater peace above. This I muttered to myself as I pulled that lonely trigger. In any case, I believe this is nothing more than what we have already learned. I'm still waiting for one of those right moments, Heir Attorney. May I remind you that baseless remarks will earn penalties. Proceed with that in mind. Yes, Your Honor. What a pain this is turning out to be. The doctor examined the body before the police arrived. Did the doctor say anything concerning the cause of death? Why, yes, I believe he screamed, "My God, he's been shot in the head." It doesn't take a doctor to notice that. I believe I would have said much the same thing. And I would have penned a requiem that arose in my soul at that horrid sight. Whatever happened to good old-fashioned investigation? In any case, I believe this is nothing more than what we have already learned. I'm still waiting for one of those right moments, Heir Attorney. May I remind you that baseless remarks will earn penalties. Yeah. What a pain this is turning out to be. He was quite clear about the time of death. 11:10 p.m. I don't think I'm stepping out on a limb to say I have some doubts about this. How could the doctor be so precise with the time? We do usually get an estimated time of death, true. I'm not sure I've heard of a verified time of death. Magic revels in making the complex appear simple, but reality is the opposite. What appears complex in this case is a simple matter of subtraction. I see another person has done their arithmetic homework. The point here is the IV the victim was taking. It's quite visible in the photograph of the scene. Recall what we heard earlier about the victim, Maggie Gramarie's schedule. Every night at 11, Maggie took an IV drip for 30 minutes. I can see the IV bag right there, yes. Now look a little closer. Follow the tube down from the bag to the end. It's in his heart. His heart stopped beating. Oh, the needle's been removed. Oh, right, on the pillow. No, not on the pillow, on the side of the mattress, yeah. It was removed from his arm. Doubtlessly, it fell out when he was shot. That would seem to be the case. When the needle comes out, the IV no longer drips. Ah, you could just measure the remaining IV liquid. Precisely. The IV liquid functions, for our purposes, as an hourglass of sorts. This is how the doctor determined the time of death. From the amount remaining in the bag, it was determined that the IV had stopped 10 minutes after administration began. Ah. And so it was, when I, Valent, entered that room. 10 minutes had passed since that horrible crime was committed. And this is proof. Valent could have meddled with the IV on his own. He absolutely could have. Well, Mr. Wright? Did that seem important? Very important. Added to the testimony. Well, seeing how it is the biggest clue we have to the time of death, I'd say it's very important. Agreed. It would be hard to imagine a more precise way to determine the time. Behold the power of arithmetic. Very well. The witness will add this detail to his testimony. Sometimes the most magical thing of all is the truth. The water of life springs not eternal. The remaining IV liquid proves my innocence. Does it? Does it though? Hold on. Let's look at this. 30 minutes required to administer full IV. From the amount remaining, IV stopped 10 minutes after administration began. Okay, IV began at 11 sharp. IV stopped... Okay, wait, no. Full timeline. IV administered at 11 sharp. Zach Gramarie enters room at 11:05. He speaks with Maggie for 5 to 10 minutes. Zach shoots Clown in head. Zach leaves. Valent enters at 11:20. Shoots Maggie in forehead. Gets doctor. That's my belief of how this timeline goes. It's just a matter of proving that Valent meddled with the IV at some point. the belief that the ivy fell out of him by being shot is such bullshit to me. It was taped on. Like it was injected into him. Why would his body shaking briefly from a shot from the head completely throw out the IV drip? That doesn't make sense to me, but how do I prove that? Let's press on this, see what we get. Did you notice the IV yourself by any chance? When first I entered that room, the stench of gunpowder assailed me. Next, the mark of death upon my mentor's forehead. And then his left arm did I spy, a rose, drooping and wilted. Its thorn, it's the discarded IV needle. Knocked from the vein by the force of the shot, lucky for you. If that IV had not been there, why, you might be a suspect. Yes, very convenient for him. Indubitably so. I might say it's thanks to my lucky color. Your lucky color? Indeed, even today I wear it proudly upon my suspect self. The color of piss. For it always without fail brings me luck. Why, when Zack and Valent won their first Magician's Grand Prix. Yes, the very one held by the Association of International Magicians. I was adorned in this attire then too, and our trophy, a bust. Ah, what a day that was. This is one trip down memory lane no one needs. My lucky color, yes indeed, and that IV too. I say I think 'twas hued especially for me, Valent. What? The IV is green. He's not wearing green right now. Or is it the blue at the top of the IV bag, not the liquid? Is that the blue brooch? That does seem to be the case, indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, any thoughts on this testimony? Valent sure looks happy with himself. Okay, how about this lucky color testimony? I'm gonna need to reread that very closely. Like, what? If you say so, let's continue, shall we? Yeah, oh, shut up. Okay, look, I could continue on, but this video is already drawing a bit long, so I need to end things here. And this is so disheartening. It's so obvious Valent is the real killer, yet we know he walks free. So man, what the hell's gonna happen? Is Phoenix gonna prove it was Valent, but then it gets thrown out because of the forged evidence, and then Valent would become a free man again? But in that case, I guess Zack would go on the run from the law, and that's why he disappeared? Oh, it's just so weird. Well, one thing's obvious to me. It seems like back in the present day, in the case with Apollo and Vera and all that, we're probably gonna prove that Valent was a criminal 7 years ago. I think, much like how in the first Phoenix Wright game, Manfred von Karma was like this overarching villain who may have only appeared in like the final case, but was still the perpetrator between two murders, both past and present. I think this is a callback to that. We're doing the same thing, and I think if Valent is supposed to be like that, so I'm looking forward to taking this guy down. But we'll do that next time. Well, we'll make progress towards doing that next time, I should say. So for now, I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been more Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care.